Borderline personality disorder. Today we're talking about suicide. This is intended for adults. The subject matter is a little controversial, also upsetting to most. If suicide is something that you find to be upsetting or appealing, you may not want to watch this video. This might not be the one for you. Just to warn you from the get-go, you've been warned. This would be your time to leave. Now that that is out of the way, for those of you that are still with me, welcome to the Suicide Talk. Oh, joy, joy, doo-doo-doo, we should have some theme music. Suicide, suicide, why don't you just kill your fucking self? I think Bo Burnham said it best.
Kill yourself, it'll only take a minute, and you'll be happy that you did it. Just go over to your oven and shove your head in it. Kill yourself, really you should do it. There's really nothing to it. Just grab a mug and chug a cup of lighter fluid.
So many people have an issue with the topic of suicide. It's wrong, you can't do it. It's crazy. I'm pretty sure that some of my worst enemies out there, if they were to see me attempting suicide, would do everything in their power to make sure that I could not accomplish it. I guess I would understand that from my enemies, though. And even loved ones and friends would try to prevent me from killing myself, which I find to be rude. I'm obviously in pain. If I'm wanting to end my life, I'm wanting to get away from pain. Why would you want to subject me to keep going through pain? I believe it's out of fear. Out of fear of your own mortality. You have to be going through extreme pain and agony and suffering, usually for years and years and years, before you get to a point where ending your life, blinking out of existence, is a good alternative. We're just going to say that if you kill yourself, you just blink out of existence. There is no afterlife. Just for the sake of argument, for this discussion, there's no afterlife. You're born, you die, that's it. This time on earth is precious. So precious. It's all you get. There's nothing else. That being the case, to want to end your life, to blink out of existence, seems completely just bukus for Cocoa Puffs. Why would anybody want to do that? You should fight for all the time you've got, because it's all you got. That is the typical point of view. A lot of people would do anything to make sure that they don't blink out of existence. One must value themselves to have that position. If you completely despise yourself, if you completely loathe yourself, if there is no one that you can think of that you hate more than yourself, being trapped with yourself is unbearable. It is miserable. Blinking out of existence is better than having to continue never being able to escape the one you hate the most, despise, loathe. I had been there before where I couldn't stand being around me, being me. I've wanted to kill myself on multiple occasions because of that. No longer is the case. I have made peace with myself. I have changed the things about me that made me hate myself so much. I've forgiven myself for a lot. I've also given myself a break. I've not taken the whole burden upon myself. I have released some of that burden to all of you. Well, not personally, all of you watching, but society in general, the way the world works. I can't take all of the burden for everything on my shoulders. A lot of things were out of my control. That still has not given me a big desire to want to live and for life, though. Why would someone still want to just blink out of existence if they had found some value within themselves? Is suicide wrong if there's nobody to miss you? That's a that's a real fundamental question if you really think about it. Suicide's very taboo. We say that individuals that are having suicidal thoughts or have attempted suicide are have a mental illness, that there's something wrong with their brain. Wanting to kill yourself cannot be a sane thought. That's what we're told. Even though suicide is actually the most logical, sane thought one can have.
Okay, now I feel like you pulled back.
If there are a large group of people who, after thinking of reality in the world and science, become nihilists, you realize that everything is meaningless. There is no meaning to anything. It's all a big randomized fluke. No matter what you do, it does not matter. Even free will is an illusion. You think you have free will. You think you're making your own choices, but you're not. And, well, if free will is an illusion, then that also means that everything else starts to fall apart. If you have no free will, then it even makes things more meaningless. Well, if you've come to this realization, there's really no logical course of action other than to kill yourself. It's the most sane decision in a meaningless world. Would you rather live in a world where nothing matters, it's all meaningless, even your life is not in your control, is all out of your hands, your suffering, your pain, your joys, it's all an illusion, it's all predetermined, and you have no real say in the matter, you just believe you do. Do you want to keep living as a fool in a meaningless world, or would you rather just blink out and say, you know what, I'm not going to play that game? It's not even your choice anyway. If we're living in a meaningless world where you don't even have free will, it's just an illusion, is suicide still wrong? You had no choice. No matter what, you were going to do it. It was just a matter of when. We like to try to trick ourselves into believing we have free will, that we have choice. It makes us feel better because the realization that we don't, well, is very bleak, and people don't like bleak. People like happy, happy, happy. They want rainbows flying out of their asshole. Are individuals who have suicidal ideology, is it really a mental illness? Is it really a dysfunction, or are they just actually the only sane ones around? Yeah. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And then pass it. Next round, you get skipped. Dippity dip. Don't talk back. Don't give me no lip. So you ever find yourself at 4 in the morning completely naked with a bag tied around your neck? Or a bag tied around your head? Yeah, neither do I. About this point in time, you're probably trying to figure out how I'm going to make something meaningful out of this whole conversation. Or bring it together where it seems to make some kind of cohesive sense or coherent sense. Fortunately, I don't think that's going to happen because much like the thoughts of suicide and suicidal ideology really has no conclusion except one, which is a grim one. Now, this video should have the same kind of conclusion, a grim one, with many questions, no answers. Someone does commit suicide and there's always so many questions. Why they did it? Is there anything that could have been done to prevent it? Questions, questions, questions. Sadly, the suicide discussion is much like that. Much like losing someone from suicide, just lots of questions and sadness. Questions and sadness. And a feeling of wasted potential. So in these grim times, I guess really the only thing I could say is just keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. If for nothing else, for that next orgasm, it'll be worth it. I promise you. Unless it never comes. Huh. That'd be sad. Never come. Anyway, that was a pornography joke. I think that was a sick joke. But I am a sick man. So I've been told. Fucking kill me. Why can't I just fucking die? I don't want to live. It hurts too much to live. It's too scary to die. Too painful to live. Too scary to die.